Okay? We are going to now start looking at types of compounds. We talked about this a little bit before with naming, but we're going to look more at the electrons. Types of compounds, and more specifically kind of types of bonds. So remember before we talked about there are really two, and only two types of bonding that we really focus on. One, ionic, and two, covalent. With ionic, that is a metal plus a non-metal. With ionic, we have non-metal plus non-metal. And with ionic, so it's metal and non-metal, or also ion plus non-metal. There's at least like one ion that I can think of. We can't talk about that. But what the important thing is that with this ionic bond, what we end up with are these ion pairs. With covalent, when we see covalent, what we need to think of here is sharing electrons. Whereas with these ion pairs, that's a transfer of electrons. So, kind of the simplest example that we can start with for ionic is we'll look at sodium chloride, table salt. And so, sodium, so we'll start with ionic. So sodium is Na, and we see that it has 11 electrons. But as we mentioned before, we're not concerned with all of the electrons, just what's that in that outer layer. So when we look at the periodic table, we look at where sodium is, right here. So we see that with it's the first row, those 1, 2, those electrons are all filled up. Second row, the 2 S's are all filled up, and all the 2 P's are all filled up. So the only thing we have there is that 1 and the 3S. And so 1S full, 2S full, 2P full, 3S we just have 1. So if we were to make a Lewis dot in A, it would just look like that, because we've just got 1 in that outer layer. Because if you remember, the inner 2 are full, the next 8 are full, and so that's all that we have. So that is our Lewis dot for sodium. Now, how about chlorine? So chlorine is way over here, further to the right. Same row number 3, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 additional electrons. And so 1 plus 6 gives us 7. So chlorine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is the Lewis dot for chlorine. This is the Lewis dot for sodium. So when we put these two together, what happens is that they want to have a full outer shell. And so this electron gets pulled off and put over there. So we now have, what we end up with is Na with that 3s orbital is now empty. And so the one below it, which if you look below this 3s, below it is this 2p, it's got all 6 there, so that's full. And so we write this Na plus because we lost an electron. Now for chlorine, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So chlorine has a full outer shell as well, but it's now an ion because it picked up an extra electron. So Na plus, Cl minus, when we put them together for this NaCl, that's our ionic bond. So remember, ionic, metal and non-metal. So sodium is a metal, left of our staircase, right here. Chlorine, non-metal, right of our staircase. Metal, non-metal, transfer of electrons, making these ion pairs that stick together.